forgot to hit start recording. There we go. It's become a thing. I think out of 54 episodes, maybe like 8 of them I've actually remembered. Welcome, Internet, to weekly-ish D&D with friends. Yeah, so last time, let's do a quick loop around. Vanadia had mystery adventures. We remember that. So Airyainth, you had been locked in a cell with a kind of strange visitor, the old man Rowan, who spooned his way up through your floor, and with the pair of you managed to escape. At least got as far as getting your possessions and things back from the barracks of the Astral Elves, and made your way to the yard through a tunnel that he thought he was going to before he got to your cell. So it's just happenstance, luck perhaps, that he wound up there, where you stumbled upon the visage of Maggie, who had just escaped from her cell. She had had a brief talk with a acolyte of some sort of the fire god Thran, something like that. I didn't write it down while I was watching the video, and I should have. But he was, regardless, a chaotic good, we'll say chaotic neutral, chaotic good fire god worshipper that had warned her of the Astral Elves being sort of a brutish police force throughout the universe, who deemed that their way was like the right way and everybody else should go to jail. Tohan, you had been trapped in what was essentially like the high security wing that was filled with some of the worst of the worst. There was all sorts of monsters in there. Maggie, you mostly saw just kind of mostly humanoids, although there were a few rather monstrous looking fellows. They all seemed very peaceful. Whereas Tohan, you were not in a good spot. You were in like Gen Pop in a max security prison. It was like they were all making kissy faces at you. But after a Tohan, I don't remember actually. How did you get out of your cell? Oh, you and the troll bent the bars, right? Oh, that's right. Yes, I almost forgot. Yes, Maggie's divine intervention managed to unlock all of your cells. And yes, you guys had made your way out, only to find that the alarm had been sounded. The Astral Elves had come to rearrest whoever it was that was making a break for it. And when they did, they were met with extreme prejudice by the now free maximum security inmates, whom you can see. You will be able to see. Blanc. Are standing in the yard with all of you now. So this is kind of the scene that you guys are in. Maggie, Airyainth, and Rowan, Crazy Rowan, as I named him on here. You three are all up in this one lonely tree in the yard. It's kind of a large, I don't know, maybe 50, 60 foot tall, like, oak type tree. So you've found a perch up there above the chaos. Tohan, you are on the ground. Vanadia is probably somewheres in here. We'll say she's made her way over to Tohan. And there was several kind of strange beasts that had come out. Many of these creatures have now pinned the Astral Elves back up against the entrance to their barracks. And the other thing that's going on is several of these monsters are, like, now seeing that the Astral Elves have already kind of been taken care of. They're settling old beefs from the prison yard, most likely. There are groups of them that look like they are getting ready to go at it, like the Jets and the Sharks, I suppose. Bloods and the Crips. Too real? I don't know, maybe. Now, this was when you had heard the boisterous voice of Jarlaxle, the mercenary whose ship you had stolen, who you had left marooned in the middle of the Astral Sea, and he had, well, you privateered it? Commandeered, that's a better word. Yes, Well, yeah, he did. He escaped with one of your little space lifeboats, I suppose, and just was rowing his way back to wherever he had to go. Now, how he got from where he was to where he wound up in his next form, which was the Drider that came at you at one point or another, or how he returned after that form was destroyed, you have not figured out yet. He just keeps coming back to haunt you guys. And this time as a particularly fearsome creature, as Rowan would tell you, the Brainstealer dragon. Did I custom make this mini? Yes, I did. Is it top notch? Not really for 3D animation, but it took me at least 20 minutes to make it not fall apart, so I'm proud of it. Yeah, it takes a minute. Like, it's literally 4 other creatures that were already animated that are tentacles that are stacked together and then tacked together with a link, and then I shoved them in the dragon's mouth. So it works. Shows which one it is. Now, this was not the only dragon there. Also, you had seen these 4 really beautiful but really deadly looking astral dragons flying down as well. These things with skin that almost mirrored the sight of outer space. And the only reason you could really see them clearly here is because they were not in outer space. You think that this would be like some sort of camouflage for if they were sailing amongst the stars. And Rowan probably relates to you the nature of these beasts too, of being something that that sails amongst the ethereal or the astral plane, searching for prey. You do notice that the Brainstealer is much larger than the others, probably making it a full adult while these others look a little bit younger. And Jarlaxle has essentially declared that he has come here for you, as he wants his vengeance, and he knows it will give his master, Vecna, great pleasure for him to do so. Now, that being said, I'm gonna need everybody to roll initiative as Jarlaxle takes his first surprise round of attack. I know he's announcing himself, but he's doing it as he's swooping down on you. That's fun. Alright, Maggie and Tohan, which one of you has the higher dex? Okay. Alright, so it's gonna be Jarlaxle, Tohan, Maggie, and Airyainth. So, on his surprise round, he comes barreling down out of the skies, directly above the courtyard, and makes a fast pass over it. And it draws back its head as though, like a typical dragon attack would, to use its breath weapon, whatever this one might be. But as it acts like it's blasting out its breath weapon, nothing seems to be happening until it flies over and past you. At which point, I need everybody to roll a... Wish I didn't have so many windows to manage. I need everyone to roll a DC 19 intelligence saving throw, as the dragon magically emits psychic energy in a 60-foot cone passing over you. Okay, you take 71 psychic damage and are stunned for 1 minute. Okay. Neither of you two take any damage. It hits really big, but if it misses, it just misses. So that's nice. And a 19's kind of high, but not that high for an adult dragon, honestly. The astral dragons, they just seem to fly around. They're trashing the buildings and stuff. They're like kind of doing their own thing for the most part. I am going to leave them kind of over here, but just be aware there are 4 astral dragons just beating the shit out of the buildings in the prison and tearing things apart. A few of them flying around trying to chase some of these monsters. Now these monsters that are fighting with the astral elves, everyone sort of stops when they see this. And all of them are going to make a saving throw for the dragon's frightful presence. As soon as I can reach my dice. Come on, dice. Dice box behind the couch. I need to grab it out earlier. Let's see. Alright, so the astral elves, you hear one of them scream out, "Men, hold fast! There's more of them incoming! It must be a conspiracy!" The troll, Tohan, that you had been talking to before, turns around, and he kind of looks up, and he grabs the creature nearest to him and spins it around, and he's like, "We're fucked!" And all the monsters just begin to scatter in every direction as far away from this thing as they can. So they are literally just, all they are doing is actively staying to like the outside edge of this thing. They are trying to find a way out. A few of them begin going back into the kind of maximum security area. But yeah, most of them are just running around like crazy beasts. Alright, so after Jarlaxle's Psychic Blast, he comes veering over to the temple area, lands, and seeing the giant statue of some ancient god, he begins laughing and smashes it down, using his action to do so. "That's what I'm going to do to you when I get you!" Alright, so what would you guys like to do? Tohan, you are up first. You are stunned. That is correct. You may make that same saving throw again at the beginning, or at the end of your turn, sorry, to see if you can overcome the effects, to shake it off. So it's DC. Alright, there you go. So that was very lucky. Yeah, so you are able to kind of shake out of it at the end of your turn, but it does take the entirety of your turn. Let's see, so Maggie, or no, I'm sorry, Airyainth, you would have been up first, wouldn't you? Yeah, you had a 13. I apologize. I wrote you down backwards for some reason. No, you had started to notice the magical dampening field weakening at some point, but you didn't really know why. Rowan tells you he suspects that this Brainstealer dragon most likely gives off some sort of a aura that negates things like that. Like perhaps they share a similar like vein of magic, like a psychic magic or something, but Brainstealers are known to affect their surrounding areas in very strange ways. Yeah, I'm not going to put you up against a dragon without at least something. That'd just be mean. Okay, so let's change the from the base of the tree in a straight line. I can't right. Yeah, this would be right. 15. 15 times 5 is 75 feet. Is that right? 50? Yep. So he's about 75 feet away from you right now, just on the other side of the wall. He's just tall enough. You can pretty much, like, you're up in the tree, so you can see, you know, pretty much what you see of him there. He's like got his head poking over. Yeah, I think you guys were sort of like you had done that at the end of your the time of you guys coming in. So I think everybody was sort of clinging to the tree and waiting to see what happened. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, so you only need to move about 15 feet or so. I do not blame you. Alright, so you're somewhere around there. But we'll say you're within 60 feet now. Crazy rowing. Crazy rowing's like, oh, where do you think she's going, Maggie? Oh, True Strike gives what is it? Stuff about its defenses, right? All right. So it tells you it is lawful evil, has an armor class of 18. Uh, Lots of hit points. Somewhere's around 500 hit points. It has a fly speed of 80 feet and a speed of 40 feet on the ground. These things are incredibly strong, not super dexterous, but quite healthy as in constitution, very intelligent. They tend to be very wise, and they can be very charismatic. Not to say they're like, oh, tra-la-la, but there's some smart, conniving motherfuckers, generally. This being said, this particular one is Jarlaxle, so he is who he is. You know what I mean? As far as the cunning, he's already pretty gnarly about that stuff. Let's see. It is immune to psychic damage, and it has blind sight, dark vision, and a passive perception score of 20, which means this thing doesn't miss much. It also tells you that it has telepathy and both legendary resistance and spell slots, or spell uses, I should say. But no particular weaknesses. Let's see. He rolled a 1, so he's going to revoke his legendary resistance of if the dragon fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead. You can do that up to 3 times a day, so that's one of them. Make a little X by this guy. He failed, but one of his traits is his legendary resistance, so he basically can negate 3 things that he has to do a saving throw for. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll round it up, so 10 damage. Oh, the immunities? Like, he is immune totally to psychic type damage. Like, he cannot be hurt by any psychic attacks. But that is the only immunity he has. He has wonderful fucking saving throws and stuff. But, yeah, and I think... And it told you he is also telepathic. Or either way, Rowan would have told you by now. Rowan, meanwhile, is spouting off founts of knowledge about this thing. He's just talking all about the Brainstealer dragons. He's like, I'd only read about these. These are incredible. Doesn't seem scared of the thing at all. Just seems very intrigued. Alright, fix the list here before I keep screwing that up. Here we go. Tohan, Maggie. Okay, so it's going to be Tohan's turn next. You did your you broke the stun that he got hit with. You got hit with. Maggie, your turn. Yep. A 17 does not hit, I don't think. Does not hit. Yep. I'm sorry, what? Um, Guidance doesn't specify the next attack. Yeah, if it's the next attack, then it would be whatever the first attack is. Yeah. Yes, 18. I had a celestial object save, but for some reason it did not want to spawn in. That's super weird. Sorry, it was a 21 to hit. That was on the Okay. That does do damage. How much damage does it do? Alright. So the Jarlaxle takes 20 damage. He kind of almost seems to be just like, you know, pew pew, and he's just turning his neck, kind of like, ugh. Okay, so let me get a Celestial out on the board for you. Man, none of my guys are spawning incorrectly. There we go. I don't know if maybe the animated dragons are putting a damper on my PC processing power or not. I don't think so. Maybe my... so where were you going to summon the Celestial? Yeah, not much. Okay. I mean, you've got a table and a couple of chairs over here. There's a barrel over here. And other than that, the best cover is the wall right in front of the thing, honestly, because that's probably his only blind spot from where he's standing. He can kind of see the whole, survey the whole field here. Now, this is basically like the interior prison yard, so that's pretty bare bones. There's maybe a few like workout benches or something in there. You could probably find some small like partial cover that would give him half cover from stuff, but okay. Someplace over here, gotcha. Alright, let's see, now I get to go down to the legendary actions. So, this dragon is able to take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options that I have. Only 1 legendary action can be used at a time, and only at the end of another creature's turn. He is going to do so now. And the dragon spends 2 of these 3 actions to produce a Psychic Scream. He will regain all 3 of these legendary actions at the start of his own turn. So the dragon emits a wave of psionic energy, 30 feet in all directions around it. So this doesn't quite hit you guys, but it does hit maybe a few of the monsters that are kind of scuffling near the tables and things. And as it does so, you see them all, most of them drop to the ground in pain, grabbing their head, sort of like rolling around on the ground, like. So this is not like necessarily like it lets out a scream, but you can almost feel like the psychic energy wash over you, like a backdraft from like a fire. So it does nothing to you specifically, but definitely fucks up a few of the monsters' days that we're fighting over here. Like maybe this blue Abishai that was fighting with an incubus. We'll say they're down on the ground now. Alright, so your Celestial's out. That ends your turn, correct? Okay. Coming back to the top of the initiative order is Jarlaxle again. Oh, the Celestial, I'm sorry. Yep, that's right. I forgot he goes right after you. No, Rowan is just kind of stargazing at this dragon trashing shit, and he's kind of looking around at the astral dragons like, ooh, look at that one there. He's got a nebula on his wing. Yeah. And this is from the Celestial flying over to hit the dragon, yes? Oh, okay. $47 radiant damage altogether. Jarlaxle looks over at the Avenger and he's like, "Alright, that hurt a little bit." Okay, so you want her to fly to the other side of the wall so that she's out of line of sight for the dragon? Like where my little cursor thing is kind of pointing, right? Okay. That puts her right about there. Give or take. For any of our new viewers, we've got one new viewer. I don't know who it is, but we've got one. Somebody else felt sorry for us. Yeah. Oh, look at these cute little D&D nerds. Yeah, so for any new subscribers out there, we do not hold to strict rules like distance and time and things like that in this game. Let's see. So Maggie, that ends you. So we're back at Jarlaxle now. Jarlaxle is going to, having used up his two of his abilities for a few turns here. He does regain his legendary actions at the beginning of his turn. Jarlaxle flies about 40 feet or so, landing atop these table and chairs area here, and casts a spell called Dominate Monster. Now, who does he want to cast it on? I'm thinking he's going to cast it on this guy. Yeah. So a nearby Hydraloth, which is a sort of frog-like giant gremlin thing, he casts Dominate Monster. Let's see if this thing makes it save or not. I doubt it. Does not. He simply looks down at this thing who is currently fighting with a giant yeti, and does that like hypnotize eyes thing where like little spirals come out of his eyes, and the Hydraloth sort of looks up at it and just sort of falls slack-jawed, and the yeti's punching it in the face. The Hydraloth nods and gives a huge backhand to the yeti with far more force than it had been doing previous. And then begins marching itself toward the tree that you guys are currently in. Mark that off real quick so I don't try to use it again. Oh, and it turns its visage towards you, and you're not sure because it's hard to tell if something with this many tentacles coming out of its mouth is smiling or not. But you think this is probably some sort of a weird, fucked up, creepy smile that he's doing at you. So I'm gonna need anyone still in the tree, not behind it, but in it, which is going to be you, Maggie, to make a. Sorry, I just clicked off from it. How did it go? DC 18 Wisdom saving throw, or become frightened of the dragon for 1 minute. Nice. Alright. That is going to be all that the dragon does this turn. On his turn, anyway. Yeah, and the Hydraloth just makes its way over towards the base of the tree. You actually, Tohan, you're on the ground in between this thing, and you see it as it approaches this quadrone, one of the mechanized sort of creatures that you had encountered in that great cogwork city with Umbra many weeks ago now. One of these quadrones is beeping excitedly at it, waving its arms and gesticulating like, what are we going to do about all this? And the Hydraloth swats it out of the way as well, leaving the quadrone busted up into pieces across the yard. Yeah, so it just makes its way over to the base of the tree here. That's going to bring us back to Airyainth. Who is behind the tree. Oh, pretty close. Let's see. That spot in the tree. Him 9. That's about 45 feet or so. Alright, big dumb dice. You better not fuck this up for me. Alright, let's see. What was the plus his wisdom save? That is a 19. Had me panic there for a minute because I couldn't find his wisdom's modifier. It's like, oh no, uh-oh. Okay, I probably have an answer. I would say that until the rod is complete, whatever we've already got written down is probably what we've got written down from the book, I think. Okay. Yeah, I would say that it lets you do it up to level 3 probably for that specific like utility power of the rod. And anything beyond that, like, I don't know if it changes when the rod is complete, probably. Who knows, maybe every one of the powers of the rod will change when it's complete. Dissonant Whispers. It's gotta be one of those crazy, like, Tasha's Cauldron spells, huh? Let's see. Sure, I haven't looked it up yet. That is a 19 on the dice plus 4. Gotcha. Yeah, I dropped the character earlier, so I moved you out a little bit, but let's see if you were like there. You just want to move back by the wall and kind of keep the tree in between you and him. Okay. There you float. Alright, Tohan, it is your turn. Before you do anything else, make me a perception check to see what you notice around the battlefield, because there's lots of crazy shit going on right here. Okay, you notice lots of good stuff then. Aside from witnessing the Hydroloth scamper past you towards the tree at the command of the Brainstealer dragon Jarlaxle, you notice there is a group of kind of raggedy, what appear to be some sort of a pirate group that are all wearing similar kind of clothes and stuff. Maybe they were in a gang or something together. There's a couple of kobolds, there's a random Thrycreen in there. There's one, a Yuan-ti, like not the kind with the snake ass, but the kind with the human legs, and a very large armed ogre, as well as an orc. And they've sort of been running around the battlefield, but they've now found themselves pressed up against this wall, and they're watching this Brainstealer dragon with great intent to stay the fuck away from it if they can help it. You think to yourself, just for a moment, they look like they would know their way about a pirate ship. Just a thought that you have on them. And with that, go ahead and take your turn however you would like. Nice. Stay out of my head. Okay. Nice. See, that 18 hits. That 31 definitely hits. Oh, you're rolling each. Yep, both hit. $33. 74. Okay, so that's 140, 150. Sorry, I'm doing some fast math here. Alright, 151. Yeah, I mean, you can try and hang on. Like, for right now, there's no real problems with it because you've just kind of gone up and smashed this dragon in the back of the neck several times, and he's more kind of surprised by it, by the fact that someone would physically assault him than anything else. We'll say that Vanadia is currently occupied trying to pull an animated cape off from her face. There's that animated cape that was floating around in the maximum security wing has been trying to attach itself for the last 5 minutes or so to Vanadia, and she's been trying to kind of fend herself off from it. She's currently preoccupied with things. Let's see. Maggie, that's your turn. I think about 40 feet or so, 45 feet maybe. He hasn't moved since landing on that table. Oh, not even. You're like 30 feet from him. Okay. So that is a miss. Okay. Nice. So yeah, you would have missed, but as Tohan's like hitting the back of this thing's neck, it like is moving its wing up to try to dislodge him a little bit, and you manage to hit the wing as it like moves into the way. Okay, so guiding bolt strikes. I want you guys to know the challenge rating on this thing is actually 3 levels higher than you guys. Like, I was like, would they kill my regular challenge level stuff really fast a lot of the times? Maybe I'll just go a little higher this time. That no, not resistant to anything fucks me every time. Like, I need, like, resistance to physical damage on all my stuff. But still, I think you guys are in for a pretty good fight here. Alright, so those 2 damages were 18 and 9, right, Dave? Did I get that right? Okay, just making sure. The Hydraloth, you can call him the angry frog boy if you want. Not far off though. Probably, well, I don't know which IP ripped the other one off, but yeah, you're pretty close. Gotcha. So how high off the ground would you like to be? I mean, you could probably make it to the ground. We could probably say this is a 30, 35-foot tall tree, 40 foot. I don't know. It's somewhere there. I know I wasn't exactly sure of how high up you were anyway, so it's fine. Okay. So you're like kind of at the first big branches on the tree now. You're like kind of down in the crook of the tree. All right. He is, now that you're reminded, your crappy DM. It's okay, it's just my good DM karma for all those times that I was like, sure, you guys can do that. Let's see. Legendaries. Scroll all the way down past his spells to get to his legendaries. He is going to make a tentacle attack. Not on you, but on Tohan with his tentacles. He's going to kind of spin his head around and snap these mouth tentacles out towards Tohan. It's not as multi. Oh, okay. Now I'm going to find his tentacle attack. So he's rolling at plus 13 to hit with a reach of 15 feet, which I would assume would reach someone on his back. Let's see. That is a 16 plus 13. I'm assuming that hits you, right? 29, yep. So you take 16 psychic damage. And if you are huge or smaller, which I believe you are grappled. At the beginning of your turn, not the end, but the beginning of your turn, you can make a DC 17 dexterity saving throw. It just says escape. That was a weird way for them to write that. Escape, DC 17. Roll anything for 17, I guess. Maybe, yeah, strength would work. I mean, I suppose it depends on how you want to escape. Like, if you were trying to do a backflip to get away from the tentacles, then maybe then it'd be acrobatics. I'm not sure. We'll go with whatever you want. Strength sounds good. Yeah. I'm too healthy for you to grab me. There's all this baby oil. I'm so buff. Okay, I do need you to roll a DC 18 intelligence saving throw, or be stunned until this grapple ends. Rowan shouts over to you, Maggie. He says, your friend's really not going to want to let those get a hold of him. Alright, so, like, you just, as the suckers, like, pop onto Tohan's shiny scales on his head, and they just hold him there. So now this dragon has got his neck spun around backwards, clamped onto Tohan's head. Mm. Yeah, it's psychic cringe damage. Yeah, this is not a great fight for you, Tohan. Sorry. Let's see. So let's see. That was his legendary action on Maggie's turn. Maggie, the Celestial goes immediately after. I'm sorry, the Avenger goes immediately after you. AC is 18 on Jarlaxle's dragon. Plus 9, okay. So that's going to be 3 hits, yep. Okay. So that I'm assuming he's just flying up to the top of the wall to take his shots, right? Okay. even even creatures from the plane of law are like, holy fuck about this thing. Yeah. Okay, so like following the outside edge of the wall and kind of using it for cover. As well she should be. Jarlaxle's trying to kill him. Well, based on what you just said, I had just moved him. He was... let's see. So, the wall that he was hiding behind was... That's 14. That's about 75 feet or so. If he moves his... What does he get? 40 feet flying? Okay, so... That's something like that. Moving that way around the wall, he can bring himself about 20 feet closer total to the dragon while staying behind the wall. Because he's kind of got to go around the outside edge curve here. Okay. Yeah, I mean, like, I assume he's just kind of hovering 5 feet below the top of the wall, like, just staying just out of sight. Kirsten, I don't know if I ever turned down my monitor. I did not, so there may be an echo on that part of the video up to that point. Sorry, viewers. Okay. At this point, Angry Frog Boy goes here, the, now I forgot what he's called, the Hydraloth. Let's see, what can the Hydraloth do? Like, I love battles with lots of stuff in them, but they're an exercise in me trying to guess what one thing's best, like, one-shot attack against you guys tends to be. I wish Google would stop zooming so fast. Here I would have thought that he would have had a jump attack. Oh, even better. The Hydraloth, having kind of seen where you were headed as you climb down the tree, sees you partway up the tree, and uses its ability to teleport to get next to you. Bloop! Yeah, it just pops out of existence and then pops back into existence right next to you, all kind of simultaneously. That is, however, its action. I don't need its ecology. Does not have any sort of bonus action. But I tell you, if you ever buy a new computer mouse, don't buy a new computer mouse that has two buttons on the side for your thumb that use forward and back on the internet, because you hit them all the time when you do not mean to. Yeah, for like web browsing and stuff, they're great. But when I'm trying to like read something and I've got half a hand cramp from like pushing up to find a specific spot, I bump into them. It gets super frustrating. Like, oh no, I'm not on that page anymore. Now I gotta find it again. Right. Yeah, he just kind of pops into the tree. He's on the opposite side of the tree from you, though. So you guys have got maybe 5 feet in between you going around this tree. You know, you can You can just about reach each other, but you're both behind full cover, essentially, or partial cover at the very least. Down there somewhere. Yeah. Like he's reaching on the right side, you're moving over to the left. And Jarlaxle. Let's see, next turn, so he gets one more charge back towards his Mind Blast. He looks at... He looks over, sees the Hydraloth in the tree with you, turns his attention to whomever he can see, and the closest one that he sees is Crazy Rowan. As soon as Rowan notices the dragon looking at him, you hear Rowan go, "Oops! Shit!" and start to try to scramble out of the way, but the dragon casts Levitate, seemingly at will. Now, Rowan rises up about 20 feet above the tree into the air, upside down as though hanging from his ankle, and flails about as the dragon that's just what he does. Cackling, "I'll eat you and your friends!" It then proceeds to... No, he's literally, like, just got an eye up and, like, puts a dragon paw up towards Rowan. Because his grapple doesn't require any concentration or anything. But he does attempt to extract your brain. This requires him to try to make another hit roll on you. That is 11 plus 13, 24. Consuming hits. That does 55 piercing damage to you. If that reduces you to 0 points, you get the feeling that when you get to 0, this dragon is going to rip your brain out and kill you. And probably eat your brain, as its name implies. Nice. Like, I'm picturing this, and it's like his tentacles, like, squeezing harder and harder, and it's, starting to crack through the skull plate a little bit, but, like, it's kind of looking frustrated, like, maybe Jarlaxle's like, "Damn, this is a lot harder than they make it look. Stop making fun of me, I've never been a Mind Flayer before." Yeah, he's... "Ugh! My skull is too much." Yeah, I don't give a shit. Yeah, you're probably not, like, he's squeezing the brain, the skull's not giving way, but there's probably some blood coming out of your ears or something by now, I would have to guess. It's probably not a pleasant sight. Let's see, that is the dragon's actions. He is, I think, with you attached to him, Tohan, going to fly in some direction, because that's the last thing he can do. There. And we'll move you right over with him. You're somewhere inside that dragon. Weird. Oh, I totally moved the wrong miniature, that's fine. Yeah, so he smashes into a crowd of these things. Tohan, as the tentacles kind of rip your head around, you get a much closer view, and what you notice at your feet doesn't give you great comfort either. He seems to have landed near the mind flare that you guys actually encountered as you were breaking out. That was like, you guys are okay for now. Like, I'm not gonna try and kill you. We're just gonna get the fuck out of here. However, this mind flayer seems to have found one of his fellow mind flayers, and they appear to be staring down this other creature that is looks like a mind flayer, but also seems to be like rotting. Doesn't look great. It looks like some sort of an undead mind flayer. And as they approach it, they kind of put their hands out like they're doing some kind of a crazy psychic attack on this thing, and it puts a hand up, and you realize it's holding a book, and it waves its hand, and one of these two just blasts away like full force, like because any excuse to use that fling button. You recognize it as some sort of a mind flayer lich, and it seems it is very at odds with the two living mind flayers that are confronting it. But yeah, that is the end of the dragon's turn. That So the dragon appears to be a alive mind flayer. Like it seems to be a living creature. And from what you know of mind flayers, they take over, they inhabit these host creatures by essentially depositing their young in the creature somehow. Like, digestive system, very like Ridley Scott style. Uh, but yeah, these other ones that Tohan has just seen, one of them appears to be very undead, like very obvious parts of like rotten skin hanging off from it, and really bad smell that you can smell even though you're on top of a mind flayer dragon. Because the only thing that smells worse than a mind flayer or something undead is something that's undead and a mind flayer, I'm gonna guess. It's like rotten squid. That does bring it back up to Airyainth. Oh, let's see. He moved a bunch across there. I might have moved him more than his 80 feet, but not too much more, I don't think. Let's see, 11, 55 feet away? Yep. Okay. Okay. That is some points. Yeah, it's funny because Airyainth doesn't tend to actually use the staff much, but I'm assuming that the sight of this thing has got you like, oh shit, maybe I should start using some of this stuff. Yep. That brings it back to you, Tohan. You can attempt to break the grapple at the beginning of your turn. It is a DC, what did I say, 18, 19? Oh yeah. So you are able to easily rip these tentacles off your head now. A little burst of healing probably made you feel a little bit stronger. Uh, that can be your reaction. Reckless attack defined 100%. Guys, I'm almost dead. Smack, smack, smack. Guys, I need heals. Smack, smack, smack. Both hit. Okay, 39, 38. I have to do some quick math. Catch up. I have a really bad habit of just writing down all the damage you guys do when he's not close to being dead yet. I'm like, oh yeah, minus 18, minus 9, minus 47, minus... Okay, now I gotta add them all up. Shit. Let's see, it's 20, 77 on those two. Minus 56. Cross those up. 60. 30, 140. 150. That's 155 plus the 151. So you guys have done so far just under 300 points of damage to him. So he is looking bloodied at this point. You are now starting to notice like some gashes on him and things, burn marks and stuff, and he's kind of looking more and more irritated. At the end of your turn, Tohan, he is going to use one of his legendary actions and attempt to grapple you again. Oh no, you don't get back here! Disadvantage because he can't see. He does have dark vision. I don't know if that... I know he's got... He has dark vision, but he also has blind sight for 60 feet, which means he... I think even in pitch black environments and things, he can still fight. Like, he doesn't need his eyes, essentially. Yeah. I told you, he's kind of a badass this time. I had to scrape the bottom of the barrel here. You guys are getting pretty high level. Let's see what that tentacle attack that is. Plus 13 to hit. He rolled a nat 20. That is a 33 to hit. That is 16 psychic damage, and you can attempt to succeed on a DC 18 intelligence save. Alright, you are now stunned until this grapple ends. That is really not good for Tohan, guys. Let's see. It's going to be Maggie's turn up next. Oh no, I'm sorry, the Hydraloth goes right after the dragon, right? Nope. Nope, Maggie's turn, then the Hydraloth, sorry. And your Avenger. That hits. Okay. since the dragon moved, I don't think. Maybe. Double check real quick. Face the tree. Nope, you're just outside of it. He's about 40 feet right now. About 10 feet down and 10 feet over. I mean, technically, you could drop 10 feet. I don't think you even take damage. So, I don't count that as movement, really. Like, falling doesn't count as moving. I mean, all the creatures that are out here are at this point hurt in one way or another. The ones that are the most hurt are probably the astral elves, who are now sort of bunched up. They've actually overcome this Burbalang over here. And probably this Mephit too, we'll say. They killed the shit out of them, why not? Most of them have dragged their dead back, and they're just trying to get into the portcullis slowly. This is beginning to raise up. Will be open by the time that they go again. Yeah, there's some of them within 30 feet, we'll say. Just moving over. Gotcha. The one that appears to be in charge kind of notices for sure. Like, he sees you healing his men and gets a little confused looking, knowing that you were a prisoner there, not even 20 hours ago, or not even 10 hours ago, really. But he kind of like nods, gives you like the bro nod, you know, like, all right. Okay. What is your Avenger doing? Yeah, so your Avenger is right up here, where that little yellow mark is. She is... Yes. $35 radiant damage heard. Alright, so you guys have now done 342 hit points of damage to Jarlaxle. let's see. After your Celestial goes the old Hydraloth. The Hydraloth seems more perturbed that you just dropped down after he did his cool little teleport trick. I am going to make save for him because he is under control. Wow, he rolled a 20. Okay. So the Hydraloth appears to shake its way out of this Dominate Monster spell. And kind of looks around like, why the fuck am I in a tree? And proceeds to hop his way out of this tree and turn to the nearest guards and begin charging at them, while croaking loudly. Let's see, and that comes back up to... well, actually, the end of Celestial's turn, Jarlaxle is going to take one more legendary action out of his 3 for this turn, and use his tentacle attack on Tohan. Being that he is stunned, I'm assuming I still have to hit for this. That is a 6 plus 13 is 19 hit, right? Okay. So yeah, this just a regular tentacle attack is one of his legendary actions. So that is 16 psychic damage. And you are already grappled, so he can't grapple you again. Just more tentacles hit you. And then it is actually Jarlaxle's turn, on which he is going to activate his Extract Brain ability. Where is it? Right there. This is again. That is a 6 plus 13 again. That is 19. That is definitely a hit. So that is 55 more piercing damage. You said it was halved. And yeah, he's still trying to munch your brain. I don't care if it's wrinkly or not. I'm starving. Alright, let's see. So, while he's doing that, let me just link you to him real quick since you're kind of stuck to it right now. Maybe. Or maybe not. He is going to turn and head towards... Why would I ever disable 45-degree angles? There we go. Aha. And head towards this pile of tasty-looking humans over here. And smash his way into the group of astral elves that are starting to kind of find their feet. Yes, he does. Yeah, you are very firmly grappled by these things. Do lock Tohan. I must have locked your character for whatever reason. Stick you next to him. And that brings us back to Airyainth. Airyainth, before your turn, you start to hear cries from the battlement now, as many of these astral elves have shown up on top of the barracks and on the roof to the cells themselves, and they are now firing their crazy, like, fucking laser longbows at this thing. Like, they're pulling shit back that looks like a bow without an arrow in it, and when they let go, like, fucking laser arrows are coming out of these things, like, en masse. So we're gonna roll one attack for them as a group. Jarlaxle does, however, deflect most of them with his wing. He sort of slaps them out of the way. But at least they've come to aid in the attack of against the dragon. And the ones on the ground now, seeing this, they begin to rally as well. So what would you like to do on your turn? He is somewhere's in between the two. He's more than bloodied, but he is not quite very bloodied yet, I don't think. Sorry, that's a hard fraction. He rolled a 16 on the die, but I believe he had a +4. Yep. Yeah, he's got an 18 wisdom score. Technically, I should probably give him a +1 to all of these because of being Jarlaxle, and Jarlaxle has nasty stats too, but we'll just give him the physical traits of the dragon, it's fine. Alright. Sorry, I was getting a message from Nick. He sent a voice message of some sort, but you said a dexterity 17 saving throw for a fireball? Alright, so he's got an 11 on the dice, plus, what does he get? He gets like +7, I think, for dex saving throws. Yep, +7. That's an 18 total. So is that half damage for him then, right? Sorry, now I'm reducing fractions to see what I got here. That is going to be the same as 7. So we will say he is very bloodied now. Oh, is that Nick himself? Hi, Vanadia. Ah, no worries. Yeah, when you said you were leaving New York, I was like, we probably won't see him tonight. It's tinny, but it's fine. So Vanadia pulls this animated cloak that she's been struggling with the entire session down off her face finally, and it firmly attaches itself to her neck now, and it's like crosses its arms, if capes have arms. Like, I'm on you now, you deal with it. And you see, Vanadia, a complete fucking clusterfuck going on. So for the last 14 or so hours, yeah, for about the last 14 hours, you languished in a prison cell of the astral elves where you had been captured last session. And upon escaping, you had met back up with your friends, with Tohan leading a massive jailbreak of monsters out of these guys' prison, only to have this jailbreak interrupted by the re-arrival of Jarlaxle, this time in the form of a giant hybrid dragon slash mind flayer thing. Yeah, and it's so far it's pretty much just been chewing on Tohan's head. Yeah, that's pretty much what's happened tonight. Is the dragon chewed on Tohan's head, and everybody went zappy zappy smash smash on the dragon so far. We'll put you in initiative order. We'll put you in 18. That's what I just rolled for you, just as a straight roll, just to find a spot. And we'll put you in on the next round of combat. So that'll put you... No, I wouldn't bother. That's fine. Yeah, I've got it right here on the phone, actually. Okay. Hmm. There we go. There, so now we got it on the bottom of the screen if we need it. Yeah, so Airyainth, it is going to be your turn next. Oh, I'm sorry, jeez, I got distracted. Tohan, from the back of this beast, you can roll for your, to try to break this grapple. So your strength roll, I think we said it was an 18, right? 17. Yes. Yeah. Okay, so you escape the clutches of these things yet again. What is that, the third time now you've yanked these tentacles back off your skull? Vanadia, Tohan's taken like 200 damage this combat. Yeah. It's like, ah, you squirmy little worm. Oops. Okay, that's gonna hit. Yeah. Yeah, you just have to get 15 feet away from him and he can't hit you for tentacle range anymore. Tohan, Maggie! Yeah, you're actually easily able to get to her. She's literally 15 feet from the dragon, so. He was mean to me. Owie, owie. It's like that scene in Family Guy. Peter Griffin's just rolling on the ground, holding his knee. Ah, ah. Yeah, the thing that really disgusted you the most, Tohan, when you were up there right before you leapt off to fly away, was that you realized that this thing was, you thought it was like a green like dragon that had been taken over by the mind flayer tadpoles, like you kind of knew about. But when you were up there, you realized that the green was actually just tarnished copper. I'll take things that would have had more levity if I'd thought to say them before you were up there. Let's see. So that's Tohan's turn. It is now Maggie's turn. Goes back to the direction we were facing. Okay. Yes. Yes, I have. Yep. That was 32 from the frying pan, right? Oh, okay. Nine on the frying pan, okay. I didn't catch that part. Alright, so he is definitely very bloodied. You guys have done 410 hit points worth of damage to him. Plus 9 would be 16. No, 16's a miss. That's a totally Hestian thing to say. Alright. He says, okay, and he uses one of his legendary actions to attack you. At the end of your turn. That is... that is a 5 plus 13. Does that hit you? That's 18? 18? Okay, so the tentacles snap out at you, but I would assume that your frying pan that just clanged off from him gets in the way. Like, just jumps in front of you, like, takes the tentacle shot. Yeah, maybe the wok shield. Every time something hits that wok, it sounds exactly like when Thor's hammer hits Captain America's shield. Just. that's the magical power of the wok. Yeah, all caps, like 5 exclamation marks. Actually appears in the air, like in a metaphysical form. Looks just like 1950s Batman. Alright, let's see. So Maggie, after you go, that is going to be... It would have been the Hydraloth, but he is busy fighting elves again. He is no longer under the dragon's control. Which brings it back to Jarlaxle. He kind of looks all around, and let me see, that was one more recharge on his. Can he do his breath weapon again? The good part of me as a DM hopes that he cannot yet. Where is it? The evil part of me as a DM is like, please let that be the last one. Nope, he has one more turn before he can use it, damn it. I mean, oh, that's good. So hard to be a good DM. He has Maggie in his sights now. Maggie, he is going to use his frightful presence. So he chooses you, stares directly into your eyes, and Tohan, you're directly behind her, so it's each creature of his choice, so he's gonna say both of you. You both get to try to succeed in a DC 18 Wisdom saving throw or become frightened for a minute. Alright, so you now have the frightened condition in regards to the dragon. Oh, Maggie, that's a cool image right there. Like, Maggie just, like, Tohan's like, shit! And, like, just cowers back down behind Maggie, and Maggie's, like, just doesn't even fucking budge. I love that. That's great. Okay. Yeah, so he uses his frightful presence, and then takes a step forward and attempts to use his multi-attack on you of Claw, Tentacle, which are all, I believe, at plus 13. Let's see. Claw 1. That is a 3 plus 13. That's a miss. Right? That next one's a nat 1. That's terrible. Like, and I still picture this as Maggie not fucking moving. Like, he's like, slam, slam into the ground, like, swings, goes right above your head, and it's just him being pissed off and missing. But you're like, Hestia's got my ass. She got my back. It's cool. Tentacle attack. Another 3. Holy shit. Hestia does have your back. That's craziness. That was, like, the worst rolls of the night, I think. Trip through for, like, 3, 2, 3. Or what was it, 2, 2, 1, 3? Okay. Yeah. He lets out a terrible roar. This one you think comes more so from the Jarlaxle side of it than the dragon side of it. Like, this is just this is the roar of a pissed off madman at this point. It's not like dragon roar. This chitiness, weird four-armed creature thing that's been fighting with the guards, is kind of standing next to him, and in his fury, he just reaches out and just smacks the shit out of this thing. Because he doesn't have plot armor, so. I don't care if you can't attack on a free action. I'm hitting this guy. And that would bring us. It's going to be Vanadia right before Airyainth. Okay, so you, since you had arrived and all the hell broke loose, one of the creatures that had followed Tohan out of maximum security confinement was a animated cloak. It was just like, you know, like, I don't know if you've seen the Doctor Strange stuff, but it's just a cloak floating around doing its own thing. And it seems to have taken a liking to you, and when the dragon appeared, it sort of attached itself to your face and covered your face, thereby rendering you not able to partake in the battle. But as you, Nick, the player, showed up, it suddenly decided to calm down and just settle in like a nice, lovely, normal cloak. And now it is sort of like huddled behind you, bunched up, and like pointing over your shoulder at the dragon, like, there. Like, I picture it very much acting like Aladdin's magic carpet. Like, using its corners as, like, hands. Okay. And, yeah, for reference, you are currently directly in front of this dragon. You are 5 feet behind Maggie's Celestial Avenger, and you are 40 feet away from the dragon total. So you are definitely within closing distance here. Traits. Let's see. Actions. It's gonna be that. I guess I can't roll for you. That's upsetting. I was hoping that I could just make the roll for. Oh wait, yes I can. I'm dumb. There we go. Okay, so the first one's going to hit. Second one's also going to hit. I love that. You rolled a 3 and hit him with an 18. Okay, so your bonus damage for the 100, the 2d6s is going to be 8, and then let's roll damage for these. Each of them. That's max damage, nice. And that's a 5, so anybody get the totals on all those? We had 12 plus 8 plus 5, so 25 more damage, 25 slashing damage to him. Solid. Alright, bringing his total number of hit points done to 435. He is not happy about that. Okay, and let's see if that is all for your turn. It is going to be Airyainth's turn if she is back. Nice. Yeah, raspberries are always a free action. Okay. Oh, let's find out. Base the tree to the base of the dragon. About 25 to 30 feet. Where's in that range? We'll say 25. Oh, I'm sorry, Airyainth. Right before your turn, the Astral Elves are going to attempt to shoot him with their arrows again. They do so, and I'm going to roll a d8 with a ×3 multiplier on it and see what they do. 24 more damage on their part as well for the arrows plunging into its side. All right. Sorry, go ahead. I mean, you're within like 20 feet of the tree right now. I'd say you can definitely do it right now. Okay. So what is your spell save DC? I'm gonna say, yeah, like your spell save modifier, your spell modifier, or whatever you use for like. Let's see. 17. Okay, so we're gonna say it's spell save DC 17. This would be against. I'm assuming his dexterity to avoid being grappled by this tree. That is a 4 plus 7 does not make it. So this tree, like with your rage, this thing fucking grows faster than you've ever seen a tree grow. Poor Rowan, who is still in the top of the tree somewhere, is above the tree, is like, whoa, like as one of the branches snags his ankle as it is growing, and this entire tree kind of grows quickly in an arc and envelops this dragon by the wings, the neck, like just completely has him pinned, and he is now immobilized, cannot move. He is grappled. Okay. All right. Yes, it would be. Might even fail any automatically. I'm not sure. I'm just deciding to be dumb. Where's my googly? Let me just look up grapple. I always forget this. I should just have this like on. I should just have my DM screen open in front of me, honestly. But it's a lot of work to dig it out every week. I always forget. Grapple. Not just grapple. Grapple 5e. I don't need to see collegiate wrestling. That's fine. Grapple. What can and can't he do? There it is, grappling. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll go with the disadvantage. I can't see anything on it here specifically, but we'll give it a shot. Alright, so he has a disadvantage trying to hit. Dex 17 save. Alright, his first roll was a 2 plus 7, so that's not great for him. He already pretty much failed, I think. Yep, and he rolled a 9, which doesn't do him any favors. Okay. That almost did it. Let's see. 0, 1, 8, 9. He has now had 490 hit points of damage done to him. Anything else on your turn, or is that it? Okay. I believe that brings it back to Tohan. Tohan, you're not going to let Vanadia steal another kill from you, are you? You are 10 feet from it. I don't know if you can reach with your axe. I think reach is possibly just that. I think it might be 10 feet. Yeah, then you can totally swing. Nice. I mean, pretty much if you hit him, he's fucking toast. He's got 10 hit points left. Nice. For the next 10 minutes, Tohan went apeshit on that dragon's corpse. You better believe. Fucking grapple me! Oh yeah, he's dead. He literally had 10 hit points left. So, uh, yeah, you managed to just overhead swing. Like, I picture this as you being like coming up from hiding behind Maggie. You're not looking. Like, you're just kind of like, you've got like one hand covering your eyes and you're peeking out from between your fingers. And then you overhand swing at this guy and just manage to clip him right down the center of the chest and just split him wide open. When you do, for a brief second, you think that this hell is completely over. Then you hear again Jarlaxle's voice. Ah, well, that was a lovely contest, wasn't it? And this is echoing all around you, like from just the Ethereum, from wherever Jarlaxle's consciousness goes when you guys kill him again. A lovely contest, wasn't it? Perhaps next time I'll bring something slightly bigger. Farewell, losers! Losers, losers. Nice. Nice. So... seeing we all thought it was going to be the frog boy that croaked. I like that his tentacles are still flailing around. That's great. See, Nick, I'm kind of sad that you can't see this week's because I mashed together a hybrid fucking. Yeah, I've got tentacles shoved in this dragon's mouth. It's. Yeah, you'll have to at least watch like 5 seconds of the video so that you can actually see it. It's pretty hokey, but I enjoy it. So let's see. The remaining monsters are now being sort of dispatched by the archers on top of the roof for the most part. Although you do notice that the group Tohan that you had seen earlier, the pirates, they've sort of like shuffled their way back over by the entrance of this this area here, like where they all came out of. You no longer see the undead mind flayer anywhere, nor the other two that were previously fighting. There are a few randoms kind of scattered around the yard that are just standing there, like, milling about, like, well, we broke out, I don't know what to do now. And, now several more of these astral elves are pouring out of the portcullis from the barracks, and they're sort of starting to try to manage this crowd of angry fucking everythings. And, they all begin looking, and one of them goes to head towards you, and the captain of the guard grabs his shoulder and gives him a stern, like, head shake, like, no. And he says, not them. They've proven themselves. He looks directly at Maggie, like, gives like the thankful nod again, like, yeah, you saved some of my boys' ass. Now the remaining monsters have kind of gathered up, and several of them are sort of looking like they're getting ready to start a maybe another attack on these elves. When Tohan, as you're busy smashing these tentacles off from the walls and running up into the various prisoners' faces and being like, "You fucking see that?" One of the pirate band is like, "Psst, psst, hey, big guy. Hey, listen. It's really great how you broke us all out of there, but listen, do you think we could ride your coattails for a minute? I mean, we're trying to get out of here, and these guards seem to kind of have taken a shining to you and your group. So, listen, you get us out of here, maybe we do some favors for you or something. We can, you guys got a boat? We know how to run a boat." great, man. Yeah, yeah. We just, we got picked up. Our captain got killed. These guys took us in and threw us in jail, and we've been here ever since. It's been a couple of months now. And the one that's talking is one of the kobolds. So this little guy. He's dressed like a swashbuckler. He's sort of like dressed almost like Airyainth, or no, I'm sorry, like Vanadia, with like kind of typical swashbuckling gear on. But he's real short. But yeah, he seems okay. So yeah, he follows you over to where the rest of you are kind of gathering up now, over near this carcass of this dead dragon. uh, the ten. Yeah, Rowan, you look around for him, and then you realize he's been hanging in air for about the last 9 minutes and 59 seconds, and that's when the levitation spell that the dragon had cast on him expires, and he goes, ah! Nice. So he's just inches above the ground, and he just slows down to nothing, and he sort of looks around, and he's like, well, that was very interesting. Huh. So, oh, so where are we all at now? What's the score here? And he sort of looks over at the guards. The guards have now dispatched like the Hydroloth and this guy and this guy. So most of these guys are pretty well dead. So the captain of the guard approaches you as you guys all gather up. Crazy Rowan looks him up and down. He gets real close to him, and he's like leans in and just smells him real hard, like. Well, yes, I suppose you're all right. He turns around and walks away. Like, makes no sense to any of you. He's just being real weird. He goes and starts kind of conversing with all these prisoners over here. He's like, "Oh, hey, Berkey, how you been?" Like he recognizes them because he's obviously been in the yard with them at times. He's over there doing flips. I don't know why. I can't. That's why I kept him the celestial. Roll me a persuasion check with advantage. Like, they just watched you fucking down this big ass dragon. Oh, and I'm sorry. The astral dragons, since the Brainstealer dragon is no longer around, is no longer controlling them. And they sort of look about confusedly and just take off. Like, they're like wild animals. Like, rack! They're gone. I don't know why they squawk. Maybe that's what astral dragons do. So yeah, this guard now approaches you, and he's interested to hear what you have to say. And as you explain this stuff to him, yeah, he's just kind of got this pondering look on his face, like almost a look of just total disbelief. Nice. He looks and he says, he kind of looks around, looks at the group of prisoners that are in there that he knows pretty well came in before you did, and he says, so what, these are your crew, huh? Giving you kind of like the wink wink nudge nudge. He says, hadn't really thought about what I'd do when I got out of here. Yeah, fuck it, sure. Let's go. Uh, Airyainth, you hear a familiar voice. Oh, Captain! Captain, is that you? And a large shadow begins looming over the top of the yard. You look up to see the bottom of the Serenity floating overhead, and from it floats down a long kind of rope of some sort, and sliding down it are. Zoom out a little bit here. Oops, no, don't fling that. We don't want to fling it. We just want to take stuff out of it. There we go. Love that fling key till I don't. Sliding down off from it are Mooby, Reggie in his Clockwork Titan outfit, and Ashnak. Shrink Mooby down, he's kind of large. There we go. They all come sliding down, and Mooby and Ashnak go back to back, and Ashnak has Mooby outfitted in full marine gear at this point, holding a crudely constructed kind of wooden, what looks to be almost like what we would think of as like a rubber band gun sort of contraption, that seems to be loaded with some kind of ball bearing or something, and it's in the shape of like an M16. And Reggie also is wearing a red kind of bandana around his forehead, and he's not wearing a shirt, but he is wearing pants, even though he's a robot. So he's in full Rambo attire. So these three land in between you and the slightly startled guard captain, and you hear Ashnak yell out, "Hooah! We're here to rescue you!" And he kind of looks around. "Looks like you already did all the rescuing. What in the hell is that thing?" And he points at the half-dismembered fucking pile of tentacles and shit that Tohan left behind. "Well, fuck yeah. Thing's intimidating as hell." The guard looks over and he says, "Which one of you lot is in charge exactly?" Reggie is now turned as Rowan turned, or Rowan walks up to Reggie to examine him, and they both are standing there examining each other thoroughly, like almost like a pair of dogs circling each other, sniffing each other's ass. But they're just like up and down, like Reggie's pulled out a magnifying glass, even though again he's a robot. And he's like looking at parts of Rowan, and he's like, "You seem extremely familiar. Do I know you?" And Rowan's going, "There's something about this strange mechanoid. He seems to have a soul, doesn't he?" And he's looking at you, Airyainth. Reggie's looking at you. Tohan is looking at you. Tohan looks at Reggie. Reggie looks at Tohan. "Dr. Scott! Rocky!" The large ogre in the background's like, "3 cheers for the new captain! Hip hip hooray!" And all the prisoners go up in a big row, and the astral elves are kind of looking confused, and the captain's like, "Fuck it, like, hooray, yeah, alright. Get the fuck out of my prison." And he just turns and he says, "You lot, go clean them up." And he points to the last few demons that are hanging out in the yard, and the astral elves all begin charging over and taking care of them. He's like, "I'll give you a day to get the rest of your belongings and get the hell out of here. I don't want to ever see your face in this neck of the woods again. You bring too much trouble. If we catch you out there breaking any of the universe's laws, well, we'll be forced to put you back in. Just be gone, and I hope that I'm doing the right thing and letting you do your good work." And he rushes over to join his crew, fighting the last few demons, which they quickly subdue, leaving you guys free to travel about as you would so wish, with several new cast or crew members You know, you've got a couple of kobolds, a yuan-ti, an ogre. The Yeti sort of plods over, like, yeah, you guys seem alright. The Thrycreen with his 4 arms. So there's like 3 kobolds. And the animated cape. Everybody's kind of gathering around Airyainth. He sort of looks over Vanadia's shoulder and brings one corner of his cape up to Vanadia's forehead like he's saluting. Yes, I was quite worried, Captain. You see, I couldn't raise a psychic link between us. He looks over at the Brainstealer and he says, I'd have to place a wager this thing here was why. Is that a Brainstealer? Oh my, that scampish drow fellow that he's been pursuing us. Yes, it seems like he's found a way to just take over other living creatures. I wonder what he'll throw at us next. I can't quite be sure. There's just something very familiar about him, as if I knew him once, long ago. And Rowan says, wait a minute. Did you just call him Reggie? Ah, Reggie. You don't recognize your own brother? Bum, bum, bum. And that's where we're gonna leave off. Yeah? Chloe the cloak? Nice. Alright, so we gotta save Chloe. Yeah, so it does have stats, but I have to pick which stats that I want it to have. And yeah, it's probably gonna have a couple of abilities, and it's essentially its own, it's its own creature. It's a sentient cloak. Yeah, Mooby's like chowing down on. He's like, calamari. Mooby, like that's how it ends. Just everybody, like somebody's like, that Mooby, he'll eat anything. Like everybody just goes out laughing and freeze frames. Yeah. Yeah, that's literally where I got the name. Like that's what we came up with the name from, I think. Yeah, that and the joke of "moo motherfucker." It's from some stand-up comedian, some woman that was like, "You ever see somebody with mad? You ever see a human with mad or something about a mad cow disease?" And then she puts her fingers up and is like, "Moo motherfucker," and they just always cracked me up. So that's definitely what. Yes, you guys. We'll pick up next week. You guys can assume that you are now back in possession of your ship, all of your things, and let's see. What level are you guys now? Have I given you guys a level in a while? I feel like I haven't. I feel like you guys have earned a level. Yeah. I think that's a big 1-5 right there. That means we must be approaching the 3/4 point of our campaign, because I can't imagine we're going to go much past 20. I don't even know if we'll get to 20. Like, I feel things starting to wrap up. Also, you guys should all be excited to know, I have already pre-ordered not just the Dragonlance campaign setting that's coming out. I believe it's available on December 6th on D&D Beyond, but I did not order digitally. I just got the book. But I did get the board game that goes with it. I'm very excited to see how the board game plays and see how difficult it is to translate into this, because it is supposed to allow you to sort of participate in the campaign in a wholly different way. It can be kind of played as like small like subplots to the main scenario, I guess. Like having influencing. Yeah, well, more like I think it's almost like a baby war game of some sort. Like I think the whole idea is the Dragonlance setting, for those of you that are unfamiliar with it, is essentially one of like political wars that go on between various factions of humans, elves, things like that. I don't think it's that much of a war game. I think it's more of like a like well, I'm not quite sure honestly. Like I've only seen pictures of it. I've seen the map, like the board for it looks really good. But if it's anything like the game War Quest that I picked up, it's probably more of like a regiment versus regiment like roll off type game where like you pick regiments and sort of like have a chance to roll against each other and see who comes out victorious. And I think if I understand correctly, it should tie into the campaign to allow you to actually affect the War of the Lance, which is the overarching theme of Dragonlance. So that being said, you guys now have the fifth word. What I'd like to do, I think, is say sometime between now and your next session, you guys probably find the sixth word. It's probably not even anything in the fucking temple. It's just an empty temple. There, we just said it. It's done. So the next word is... What did we say the next word was? B. Yeah, we already gave it away last week anyway. Sorry, Nick. I accidentally said one too many words when I was reading off the thing. And I was like, no, that's not it. So, we'll call that a gimme. Yeah, so what I'm hoping is we have one more session where you guys can pursue this last word and then be on your way to Kryn in one way or another. However, I have two thoughts on this, and I'm not sure where you guys lie on this as players. Would you care to take these characters into Kryn space first and do stuff and just kind of discover what's going on as you do? Because the campaign itself is written for, I think, like, it's like a level 1 to like level 13 or 18 or something campaign. So you would get dumped kind of into the middle of it so that it's level appropriate. So some stuff would have already happened and you're going to have to figure that shit out. Or, if you want, we can do like a one-off or two-off session, or like one or two sessions, where you guys roll entirely new characters for this campaign. We'll put these guys on a hold for a minute, and then once we get to a certain point in the campaign, we can bring these characters in. You can decide how you want to play it forward. Like, I can kind of mash stuff together however you want, because I've already got an idea for why I want you guys in Kryn, and it doesn't probably relate to the actual campaign at all. So, it's up to you guys. Like, if you guys want a chance to, like, just play some different characters or something for a little while. Like, you know, just as a break. Yeah, for the one shot. Yeah, those guys are what? Are they pretty low level still? Yeah. I mean, what I want to do is I want to give you guys a chance to look at the character options too. I might actually just spend the $30 and buy the book on D&D Beyond so that I can share it with you guys, because it is there's like a plethora of shit that comes with Dragonlance, and yeah, that's fine. I have Venmo if you guys want to do something like that. It wouldn't be bad, because then it's only like $5. You know, if you guys each kick me $5 or something. Yeah. Uh, so I think they're actually bringing Kenders back fully. I think as their own thing. Like they are a halfling race, but they are specific to Kryn. Oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty high. Um, so yeah, you guys are in pretty good shape as far as this campaign for a while. Yeah, so I think one more session of this will get you through your last Wind Dukes of Aki dungeon, and probably leave you on an even, like, I don't know, maybe we won't even do a cliffhanger. Maybe it'll just be something subtle, so that you guys have time to kind of just give these guys some downtime, you know, in game. Like they can just hang out and do nothing for a while. Um, And yeah, I think that that would be a cool opportunity because like that way we can get into the Dragonlance campaign a little bit with the new characters, and then at any point, if we want to switch back and forth, we can. You know, it's having two optional campaigns to run, and I'm yeah. I mean, I would think that would be kind of like stuff would still be happening in this part of the world. You know, like I think it's all like a tie-in. Like it's definitely happening in the same universe. Um, Yeah, exactly. Like it's yeah, it's a spin-off show essentially. It's like Torchwood to Doctor Who. Yeah, we could do a session 0 for it and stuff too once I get the book or even once I order it. Like I said, it's available December 6th on D&D Beyond. I'll probably just buy it. I've got the money for it, so it's not a big deal. I tend not to buy the digital until I see the physical because I already know I want the physical book for my collection. But if I find like with Spelljammer, I bought the book, looked through the books, and was like, there's like maybe a couple dozen things in here that I'm going to use all the time, but I can literally pick and choose on D&D Beyond which ones I want to incorporate into my D&D Beyond account. Like I can buy each monster I want for like a buck or $2 or whatever. But for the Dragonlance one, since it's a whole campaign that's apparently pretty well done according to some of the reviews, like people are very excited about this, and I think it would be a worthwhile investment just for our entertainment's value. Like you think about how many of these books that we've played through now, and I'm like fast paced, like running you guys through bare bones of some of these books. Like I'm literally, I think in Dungeon of the Mad Mage, you guys played like a chapter. Waterdeep Dragon Heist, you played like yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like you speed run the parts that are important for the plot, and then from there it's all hijinks and shenanigans. So yeah, and for me as a DM, it makes it immensely easier if I have a campaign book that tells me every single thing that could happen, like within reason. You know, like this is all the characters. This I don't have to come up with any of it. I can. And going into the Christmas season, I think that would be really great for me if I just have to like read 15 pages a week and be like, oh, that's what happens next. Like I'm sure I'm gonna get the book and I'm gonna yeah, and you can stay invested in just that one character arc and that one story arc without me having to go, well, how do I encompass this into the campaign? Because I, yeah, and a lot of that is, I think Dragonlance is going to be good for that because there's some really like famous settings in Dragonlance that have really famous NPCs that should be fun for me to play too. So I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. So that's good. We have a plan for that. Let's see. Anything else anybody want to talk about? It's 9:06 right now, so I'm assuming we're done. So from what I understand, the 5th edition version of it is set during the War of the Lance, which I don't know how much of old school Dragonlance you know about, but it is literally considered like a historical setting in Dragonlance. Like they've moved past that in 2nd edition, and I think yeah, it's there's so fucking many of them. Yeah. I've got the Heroes Volume 1 and Chronicles Volume 1, I want to say. I've got like 6 of the paperbacks that have been sitting on my shelf since Bill said something about them and I was like, "Oh, these ones?" That was like a year ago. So, like I remember reading them and they are very character oriented, like even in the original modules, like I remember looking through my uncle's stuff when I was a kid and the modules come with like these mini character cards and you were heavily like I don't want to say persuaded, but like they basically were like, you'd be better off if you use these characters because it is a pretty linear story. There's a lot of options among things that you can do, but like after the one setting, like there's going to be like, okay, now the next spot you need to go is this, and it's a little bit more straightforward than, well, what do you want to do now? Like, so I think like it is well like it's what a railroad campaign could be if it was very well done. Like, a lot of people go, "Oh, railroading bad." Like, yes and no. Like, it's not bad to have a plot, and like that's been the hardest part for me doing as much homebrew as I've done, is keeping the plot at least semi-cohesive. Like, I know where I want this to end, and I've got maybe like 2 or 3 beats to hit on the way to the end of it, but now I've got to figure out how do I space that out over 5 levels. So like that gives me time to do that too. And Dragonlance I think will be okay. This week we're gonna do this chapter. Next week we're gonna do that chapter. And like if we don't finish a chapter, we'll just finish it the following week, and we'll just do that until we get till you guys are like, hey, what's going on with our other characters? Like, and that way we can swap back whenever. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I think that could be a lot of fun. It's so hard for me not to like give away anything of what I want to do in this campaign and how it's linked. Yeah, you get to do like different. Exactly, like you get different combos of characters together and stuff. That could be really fun too. For like, maybe that'll be like towards the end of this campaign. Those guys, however, like it's however high a level those guys get to, maybe we can bring them all in, and maybe they decide to work for you guys. Who knows? I don't know. I haven't. Yeah. Just buy a city. Yeah, I do have a PDF of the old school second edition strongholds and fortresses. So if you guys ever need to build anything. Oh, word. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to stop by, like go out to DA's and catch up, have a drink or something. I'm not much for drinking anymore, but I do like to have one on occasion. It's like a special thing. Of course, the last time that I was like, "Hey, yeah, it was a couple weeks ago," and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go have a beer at the bar tonight." You know what? No, never mind. And then somebody got shot down there, and I was like, "Oh, huh, I'm glad I didn't go." Like, yeah, neither here nor there. But yeah, glad I wasn't down there that night because that would have been scary. All right. Um, yeah. So if there's no other questions, we'll close that out for the night. And call it a good session. You guys get to kill Jarlaxle for a third time. All right. Have a good one, everybody. All right. Bye bye, Internet.